Alright, so we're doing something a little different. I've wanted to start a series on my channel that's not MMA and just, me talking about real life and that. And like kind of like story time. I grew up watching like Leafy is here. Luna, I've been watching ever since I was like 7. Like commentary channels really kind of pushed me towards doing YouTube. But recently, well, last year, I moved into this place from my dad's house, and I moved in my city back to downtown. Originally, like I grew up near downtown, and I never really went out. But when I did, I was always up to no good. And I want to preface this before we get into this. I do not condone my behavior or anybody else's behavior in this video. You need to make sure that you're on top of whatever you need to do and you get it done, you pay your bills. Whatever you do is whatever you do. But you know, I was a very antisocial kid, but I have one friend, Trevor, who I'm still friends to this day with, and he's my main homie. I've got a few other friends and that, but for the most part, I would just be by myself. I would stay inside, watch YouTube, play games, and then when I went outside, um, there's no better way to say it. I was a total fiend. Like, I never have done any hard things, but I smoke weed, cigarettes, that, whatever. But anytime I went out, I was looking for either nicotine, THC, or alcohol. And anyways, grew up, graduated, um, I had a lot of problems with my addiction after high school. I ended up going to our mental facility here. I had to go 3 times because I went through all my money and I started a drop shipping company that, looking back at now, I deeply regret. I was not in the right headspace. I had no income. I was living off of what my mom saved out for me. Like I didn't have any supports net. But went through that, went there 3 times, and then the third time it really hit me, and I got my life on track. But now that I've lived here for over a year, um, I only go out to go to the gym or go to the bar or the dispensary. Um, but in my adventures, I met a man for the sake of this video, and probably what this video is called, Hatchet Man. And why we're gonna call him Hatchet Man was every time I saw him for the first 2 months I've been here, he would have a backpack with no joke, a full on red hatchet to the side. And eventually the cops took it. Um, I wonder why, but like this dude, he's a tweaker. There's no way around it. The moment I saw him, and like my experience in mental facilities, being around other addicts, I don't care. I'm not monetized. Meth addict, okay? Uh, and I'm gonna relate this to BJ Penn at the end, but he he likes meth, and he does his things. He every time I run into him, he tells me the same 3 things. I'm battling the demons. There's an inner dragon in me, and I'm slaying the snake. I have no idea what those things mean, but from my experience, the best way to engage tweakers, and don't get mad that I'm using that word. It's just there's no other word in my vocabulary that I know won't get this video flagged. But this guy, he enjoys his stuff, and he would constantly tell me there's an inner dragon, and then he would gesture like a snake coming out of him. But I actually talked to him. Like on my way to the gym, I crossed the bridge, and we sit there. I have a cigarette with him, and like he got into like his wife and kids, and kind of what led him down to what he's up to. But fast forward to this week, I ran into him on my way to the gym, and he actually like we sat or stood in the middle of the bridge, lit up a cigarette, and just chatted about what's been going on in our lives and that. And he started to get into like his mom and his kids. I'm like, this is gonna get really sad. But the reason I stop there every night is the sun hits the river perfectly, and you just see, you know, the bright water. You see the ducks going by. You see beavers and that. And he started to say like, you know, God's with me, and then he was like, God is with my mom and my kids, and like, I asked him because he mentioned he had kids earlier. I was like, yeah, you mentioned you had kids. He's like, yeah, I got a daughter, I got a son, but I haven't seen them in years, and that hit me like it would with any other person. But he started crying. I tried to console him, and I gave him uh my own stories and that, which maybe I'll share more in depth. You comment down below if you want them. But I went home, and then oh wait, no, I went to the gym. Sorry, did my workout, walked back to the bridge, around 10, and I get to cross the bridge, and there's a bunch of new apartments right at the end of the bridge, and I see him with um this woman. For the sake of this video, we'll call her uh, Brenda. Yeah, Brenda. Brenda, she's I think friends with Hatchet Man. They might be more. I have no clue. But they were yelling at this guy with a beard. Well, he told me his name. I'm terrible with names. I never forget. I never remember anybody's name until like the second or third time. But he was going off, and he was like, "I lost $200. You cost me $200." And then Hatchet Man, um, stood up to him and started yelling at him because Brenda was starting to get upset over him yelling. And then you could tell this other dude, he was also into it. And then he pointed over to some, I don't even think it's an apartment. No, I think it's an old folks home. I honestly, you pointed to a building. I have no idea what it is, even though I drove by it on my bus stop every single day. But you pointed over there, and he's like, "I'm gonna go get my shit back. Let's just go get my shit." And like, Hatchet Man stopped me there and said, hold on, let me solve this." So I stood there, not because he told me to, just, to see what was going on. And he really wanted to go over there. And then eventually he apologized to, I already forgot what name I gave her. He apologized to the lady. And then Hatchet Man and him started talking. And apparently, Hatchet Man owed him some money as well for whatever they were doing. Eventually, I was like, okay, okay, I have to head home, walk past them, made sure they didn't follow me. I do that every time I see this guy, and I just start dying laughing. Fast forward to tonight. Now, every Friday, I go to the bar. I I maybe get one bottle of white rum a month. Shut up, home. And, you know, I'll go to the bar, I'll have a few beers, and that's my drinking. Because, I want to stay on top of my substance use. Like, I do smoke, both, weed and cigarettes and whatever. But I've cut down my use way severely compared to what I was using before. But I went to the bar, chatted with the bartender there, and did my thing. I had my two beers. Then I walked home, and I went to the dispensary, picked up some, joints. I'm just gonna say I don't know why I'm trying to keep this video off the YouTube or automation thing. YouTube is very finicky now. I hate it. Now that they have like their copyright and restriction automated, it'll pick up anything. It's really stupid. But I did my thing, went to the dispensary. Then I was heading home, and I ran into another fella. We're gonna call him Kyle. Now, Kyle, I've seen Kyle every week ever since I moved here. We never have just nodded at one another, but never like talk. He even goes to the gym that I go to, which is a funny part. Anyways, I run into him. We start chatting it up. He introduces himself. I introduce myself. I told him, yeah, I live down here. I have a little YouTube channel where I talk about MMA. And there's a, yo, dude, this tweaker, uh, this tweaker had an entire gang of people come up to me, my friend, asking if they saw this guy. And he didn't know his name. I said his name. He was like, yeah, that's it. And then I told him, you know, what I know about him. But like apparently he said, whatever group is after Hatchet Man really wants to find him. Now, I pray to God that nobody gets harmed in this whole thing. I will keep you updated if you guys like this video and, support it. But this is just one of the stories that happens. I only go outside, apart from hanging out with my mom and shopping with my mom. I only go outside for like a couple hours, go to the gym, I walk back home, and I'm back on my computer looking at MMA shit, watching other MMA YouTubers, watching fights. But I wanted to share a little story here. If you guys like this, I'll maybe do this every week and drop your stories down below if whatever you done. Maybe me sharing this. First of all, I hope you guys don't do what the people in this video do. And the thing with smoking, now that weed is legal mostly everywhere, I think that U.S. They might make it federal, but I mean every state's kind of opening up to it. You gotta stay on top of your shit, man. And I said I would relate this to BJ Penn, and when I talked to this guy, and I read about this situation. I read what his mom said in the restraining order thing. Restraining order. I don't know why I said thing. Um, it's I look at that guy as a reflection of BJ Penn. I look at BJ Penn as a reflection of the meth users that I've met over the last, well, I mean, the course to me living where I have. And you obviously gotta be careful around them, but when you do get to actually have a conversation with them, and you get to know kind of what their addiction made them lose, what their family was like, what their upbringing was like. On the bridge, that was the other part too that got me is this Hatchet Man said, uh, I was a really good kid, and my parents were really good to me, and all this stuff. But yeah, it's part of me is like I have a very supportive family that I do take for granted. I I'm very bad at texting people. I'm very bad at being social. Period. I just I kind of get caught in my own world. I do my own thing, and at the end of the day, I kind of go, I have a routine now. Wake up, shower, find articles, make videos, go to the gym, get online with my friends, swing, repeat. But it's it's addiction is something that I feel every single mad campaign, every campaign that tries to address addiction, usually they don't have the viewpoint that you need to attack this issue. It's much more simple as I somebody decided to use meth once. Once you go down the road, and if you don't have the willpower to moderate it, if you don't have the most important thing, I'm blanking on the word here. Oh my god. Uh, Not responsibility, discipline. There we go. If you don't have discipline, whatever you do, you work in the oil patch, you gotta show up to your shift. You gotta do whatever your job is. You gotta go home and make sure you're ready to do it the next day. And when you get called in, you have to make the drive there. Whatever your job is, whatever your high is, you gotta keep on it. At the end of the day, nobody can prevent you from doing what you want to do. If you want to do YouTube, go do YouTube. I, I'm very, I'm very passionate about MMA. I spent way too much time watching this sport, so I made this channel. And from finding my faith, from reading the Bible, from praying, it gave me discipline, and it kind of showed me, okay, set up my day, do what I gotta do, and make sure whatever my high in life is, it doesn't prevent me from doing that. And that's the most important part. That is the part that I wish I had the reach to get to BJ Penn and say, it only matters how you are affected. Well, obviously his family does, but at the end of the day, it's only him that can determine where his life goes, who his family is, and who his friends are. And that guy in that video who is consistently asking, where's your money, BJ Penn? Where's your money, BJ? Where's your money, BJ? That's not the guy that should be around him at this point. And in that situation, he's already said, I've tried to get physical. Whenever I get physical, they threaten me with cops. It's his mom, his kids, his friends, his brothers. I could not imagine, it's the biggest story I'm following right now in MMA because of Hatchet Man, because of the other people that I've met that started using this shit, this stupid fucking, you know, laundry chemicals mixed together. But I don't know, man. I know I gotta be serious here, but I hope you had a little laugh, and I hope what I'm trying to get across gets across to who needs it. But feel free, comment down below. Like I said, your stories, and everybody's dealing with something. Everybody has their own demons in the closet. Maybe sharing mine can help somebody else. Maybe sharing yours can help somebody else as well. But thanks for watching, and yeah, later.